Welcome to Tones of Thrones. Oh my fucking god. Game of Thrones dropped their first official trailer. You know what that means. It's time for me to, take a look, break it down, see what we got. We've gotten teasers, we've gotten clips here and there, but we have not gotten an actual trailer. This is so exciting. So, let's get into it. Oh man, this opening scene. So we open up with Arya. She's breathing heavily. She's covered in dirt. She's bleeding. And she's clearly running for her life. It looks like she's in Winterfell. And that makes me worried because she's inside Winterfell. And I'm assuming that I am correct, it is the inside of Winterfell. That means that she's running from something that has breached the castle walls. What is she running from? And if they breach the walls, what does that mean? Why is there no one else around? What is happening here? Now let's watch this clip again and listen to exactly what Arya says while all of the video is playing over it.
I know death. He's got many faces. I look forward to seeing this one.
So first we have her saying that she knows death. And we see a flash of Davos walking what looks to be the battlement in Winterfell. What does that mean? Does that mean Davos might die? Is that some foreshadowing? Did they just put the clip in there because it seemed to go with what they were saying? Who fucking knows? But then after that, she says that death has many faces. She was a faceless man. We get all that, but we see a flash of Varys, who looks to be hiding out in the crypts with what looks to be mostly women and children. I'm not sure who else might be down there. What does that mean? It has many faces, and then we see Varys. Does Varys have many faces? Is Varys also up to something? There was some concern with Daenerys and Varys that she saw him as being shady, even though he said he's only tried to be true to the people. But that's an interesting placement for her saying that death has many faces. I'm also curious as to them being in the crypts. Now, obviously, we know they didn't specifically say it in the show that the crypts have some kind of magic to hold, like, the old Kings of Winter in place. Are they hiding in there just because it's the safest place to hide? Do we learn that there is some kind of magic and that no one can enter the crypt? Not really sure. But after this, she says that she's looking forward to seeing this face of death. She's holding a piece of dragon glass, looks to me maybe a piece that they're making spears out of or other weapons. And this is obviously pre-battle, and we see that juxtaposed with her running for her fucking life. So I think that's really interesting. Arya probably was really confident with all of her abilities that she would have no problem facing, this face of death. And it looks to be like she is literally running for her life. Interesting juxtaposition. Next, we see a shot of Euron's ship bringing the Golden Company. That right there is Harry Strickland, the leader or commander of the Golden Company. He is being played by Mark Risman. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, from The Last Kingdom. Now comes a shot of King's Landing. We see Cersei. She looks pleased. I would say that is a I am pleased look. Now let's take a close-up. We got a quick shot of the throne room. Looking fucking awesome. I think that is Harry Strickland from the Golden Company, below the throne, next to Euron on the right. Then up on the throne, obviously, Cersei Lannister with Qyburn at her side and the Mountain on the other. That's what it looks like to me. She's probably just welcoming him, hoping to set plans and what to do going forward. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back this up. Let's get back to Bran's narration.
Everything you did brought you where you are now. Where you belong. Home.
Bran is basically saying everything that you've done, everything that you've been through has brought you to this moment, has brought you back here, back home. He is talking to Jon Snow / Aegon Targaryen here. He is telling Jon everything that you've done, all that you've been through, all that you've become, the man that you are, has brought you to this day. I mean, he's basically leading the fight to save the world. Now, nothing to say of the soon-to-be power couple of Westeros, Bran and Sam. Now, I mean that in a platonic way, but you know that Sam is going to be the librarian helping him figure out the information, and Bran is going to be the one to go in there and live through those visions, see what happened in the past, maybe secrets of the Night King, how to defeat him, so on and so forth. But he is definitely talking to Jon here. What I wonder is, this is the conversation where he tells him he's Aegon, or is this just a pep talk because the army's coming and he didn't quite get to the bombshell? I think that based on the other images that we see in this trailer, that Jon ends up finding out earlier than the battle. Next, we get an image of Tormund and Beric. They're with Ed, which means they survive, so hell yeah. I'm not sure exactly where they are, maybe Winterfell, not too sure, but they're alive, so that's cool. Next, we get an image of Sam and Bran. Now, it's definitely a new clip. There's cold breath coming out of Sam's mouth. The way that he's looking to the left looks like they're maybe about to drop the bomb on Jon, but I don't know. It could be completely something unrelated, or them getting news the Army of the Dead's there, but it's definitely a certain look. So we're going to back up a little bit again. So after Bran's narration about Jon being home, we get Jon and Daenerys coming into Winterfell. We get Sansa looking at the fucking dragons like, what? Flying over Winterfell. And then Dany and Jon in the crypts. Look at that look. Something's going on there. We get Gendry working on making the weapons, and boom, it's coming down. Oh, yes, the kiss. Jaime fighting on the battlements. Cersei right after they get done talking about enemies. And then we get more dragons flying. We get the scene that we saw in the teaser with Arya, just kind of like looking at all while everyone's completely shitting themselves. So that basically is Jon discussing how their army doesn't tire, their army is relentless, their army doesn't feel. And over top of all the imagery of what they're doing, Gendry making the weapons, juxtaposing the army not feeling to Missandei and Grey Worm sharing a kiss before he's obviously like getting ready to, duke it out with the Army of the Dead. The crypt scenes, I mean, come on. I mean, there's definitely something going on there. Either it's something about her pregnancy, or it's something about his lineage, or maybe he's just scared shitless because the battle's coming, and they just want it to look that way. Who knows? So now let's talk about Jaime. So there's this quick scene where it's clearly him fighting on the battlements. And he yells something. Now, does he yell Jon? Does he yell run? I don't know. What are your thoughts? What is he saying? I tried to turn up my volume, but it just gave me a headache instead of giving me an answer. So somebody tell me what's going on. Next, let's watch the scene. It's Jaime voices over some other images where he's talking about the promise.
I promise to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise.
Now, over Jaime saying that he intends to keep his promise for fighting for the living, we get a shot of Jon at the heart tree. Now, we also see, like, Grey Worm putting on his helmet, but most notably, there's two scenes. Jon at the heart tree. Now, I don't know if he's going there just to have a moment with Ned, reflecting on the conversation they had about him telling him about his mother when he went to the wall, or if he's just, feeling like he needs a moment, but there's that. And then the Hound. Now, I thought this image of the Hound was interesting. The first thing that I thought was there is a fire. What looks to be like he's hiding at a wall and there's fire on the side of him. We all know he's terrified of fire. Now, is this a moment that the Hound has to make? This is what I see coming, is the Hound has to make a decision to either face his fear, maybe to save someone, maybe like Arya, or, you know, he ends up doing like what he did at the Blackwater and just kind of taking off. So I don't know, just that one image made me think a lot. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that one? Let's take a look at the next clip. Alright, so we have Jon running for his fucking life. What looks to be, I'm assuming, I don't know if that's the army like vacating Winterfell. I feel like it's them taking off, or maybe an intersplice of the two because there's horses. I don't know, it could be either way. But then after that, which I'm sure everyone's going to be talking about this scene, we see Jon and Daenerys approaching dragons, Rhaegal and Drogon. Now I know that everybody has conflicted thoughts on whether or not they want Jon to ride a dragon. And hey, this image might not mean that. He could just be sending her on her way and she's off to do something and he's just, you know, escorting her. I mean, who knows? But either way, it's still epic. And we get a flash of Sansa's fierce look. Arya fighting like a badass. Dany, Tyrion, Dragonfire. Oh. Now we have the army, Brienne and Podrick, Jorah, and oh, snap. We know what those skinny ass decaying horse legs mean. Oh, final season. Can't fucking wait. Okay, thoughts, comments, come on, do it up. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, thanks.